I've been teaching martial arts for like 30 years now, and in that time, there are interesting ways that people have utilized my martial arts school, and I'm going to share the most interesting ones with you. We'll make a series about it. This is part one. All right, so I'm going to start with my favorite one because I think it's like the cutest one. This is what I call It's Grandpa's Thing. Utah, where I teach currently, has a lot of tight-knit generational family units with grandparents that are looking for means and ways to bond with their grandkids. You'd be surprised with how many kids I have where I don't even meet their parents outside of like big testing events. Like I deal exclusively with grandpa. It's grandpa's thing. Grandpa picks them up from the house, takes them to martial arts class, stays and watches them. Whenever he comes by and visits, they work on their curriculum and their testing requirements together. Like, it's a way to bond between grandson and grandparent. And now Grandpa doesn't have to know what Skibbity Toilet is, or 6'7" is, or who Bad Bunny is. They're generationally bonding over martial arts. That's the topic. I think it's really cool, and it warms my heart because like I'm kind of like the catalyst as the instructor, right? Like I'm literally the one teaching the moves, but if this child ever needs these moves to defend themselves or somebody they love, they're not going to be thinking of me. They're going to be thinking about the time that they spent with Grandpa. And what a cool gift and generational imprint to leave with your grandkids, the ability to protect themselves. And if they stick with it and persevere, they're going to take that knowledge and give it to their children and their children's, and then you leave like a lasting generational impression. Freaking cool, dude. I don't know why I'm tearing up. I don't even got kids. Anyways, this is my new series. If you liked it, hit follow and get those view counts up. We'll come back again tomorrow. We'll see how it does and see if there's a part two. The second interesting and unique way that people utilize a martial arts school is something that I call the neutral drop-off zone. So I don't think it's a secret that like a martial arts school or a martial arts gym, even if it has a thriving adult program, generally the bills here are paid from the child's program. And that a significant amount of these kids experience their childhood in two separate households. They spend certain times with one parent and then certain times with the other parent. And I find that what some parents have sort of creatively decided to do is instead of picking up and dropping off at each other's houses, they pick up and drop off at the martial arts school. Like one parent will drop a kid off and then that kid will get the benefits of learning martial arts, discipline, and self-defense, and then the other parent would pick them up. This can work for parents who are not necessarily keen on seeing each other, but it can also work for parents that live farther away from each other. Like you can choose a martial arts school that is halfway between you and the other parent, and then you guys can each drive halfway instead of having to drive household to household. I feel like it provides a level of comfort and consistency to parents that is relatively guilt-free, right? Because you're still doing something incredibly good for the child and adding a level of consistency to their lives in a time where it might be a little bit trialing for them, especially if both parents are on the same page as the concept of being able to defend yourself and others being an important aspect of a childhood and growing into an adult. Plus, it is super cool during like larger activities like testing events for a kid to see both parents come together and watch them actually accomplish something like getting a new belt. That's like, I could see it in their eyes because I'm looking at them. That's really cool for them. And I suppose you can kind of do that same thing with any sport or any activity, but the difference between like something like football or baseball is that martial arts is year-round and consistent, the same time, every day, every time. That helps, I think, this process happen more than like, it's not wrestling season, so we got to figure out something else. Anyways, this is the second entry in this series. If you're still liking it, make sure you take the time to follow and subscribe and share it. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue it, because nobody's really watching it. The third weird way I didn't expect people to use my martial arts school is the homeschoolers. Now, people choose to homeschool for a variety of different reasons. It's not my place as a martial arts coach to know that reason or judge that reason, but the one thing that we can say is that when you homeschool your kids, they have less access to things that they might have access to at public schools when it comes to social events and when it comes to like team sports. And while places like churches and like large family events can really help with a kid's sense of community, it doesn't really help with the aspects of a child being able to deal with people who think differently, who operate differently, who in some cases might even look differently. Parents of homeschooled children also understand the value of physical education, not just book smart, and they also understand that process, that experience is experiential, right? You can't just sit at home and learn physical education. You kind of have to do it. Most martial arts schools have extracurricular social activities. Like I have Halloween parties, I have gaming tournaments, I have movie nights. And our classes allow a kid to understand their bodies and physical fitness amongst a group of people that they might not otherwise interact with. So yeah, my martial arts school has more than a few homeschooled kids whose parents are, for lack of a better term, looking to fulfill a PE or social credit that they know they're not getting by enrolling their kid in public school because they don't have access to things like football teams, wrestling teams, a band or theater camps, stuff like that. And going back to some of the logic in that last entry, martial arts tends to be a good solution for this, a very convenient solution for parents because it is year-round and indoors. It's not like something you have to change your entire schedule and learning patterns around because it's not a seasonal sport. It doesn't matter what the weather is outside. You incorporate this into your schooling, your lesson plans every Tuesday and Thursday, for the most part, no matter what. Okay, so the fourth way I find that parents use my martial arts school in a unique way is what I like to call parental me time. Martial arts tends to be a little bit different than other sports activities that kids might do because things like baseball and soccer, they require games that are a long time and they often require parents to chaperone them. But martial arts classes are like an hour 2 times a week, not quite enough time to go home. So I find a lot of parents kind of just stick around and have a little bit of me time. Oftentimes I find that they'll hang out in their car in the parking lot and just, listen to their audiobook or a podcast for an hour. Or they'll go up the street to the store and do an errand like shopping unencumbered by children. They know their child's safe and secure and doing something beneficial to them, so they're able to take this next hour to 45 minutes for some mini R&R. Yes, we love our kids, but that doesn't mean we don't need a little bit of me time for us to kind of recharge our batteries. And a martial arts program really gives a parent the opportunity to schedule that on a regular basis. Me personally, when I kind of noticed that, figured that out, that's when I developed my parents' lounge here. I took some of the gym space to create a relaxing environment where they can do that in the gym if they'd like to. I made sure that there were charging ports for their devices. I created a workspace that they can live in for the duration of the class. Those have chargers as well. And I got a fridge with sort of like a mini selection of complimentary beverages. For a lot of parents, it's a great opportunity to just vibe for a second, maybe hang out on a social media app, and then continue to be a kick-ass parent at the top of the hour. Just another example of how people use my martial arts school in a very non-martial arts way, and I can really dig it. The final sort of unique way that people use my martial arts school is just understanding MMA. And sorry, I'm prepping my martial arts school for testing tomorrow. It's like this whole big event, so it's a mess in the background. Give me some leeway. I've had like more than a few people come in here whose husbands like MMA or whose sons like listen to Joe Rogan or whatever, and they're just taking martial arts, usually my kickboxing class more than my grappling class, but are just using martial arts to understand something that somebody else likes. And I just think it's really cute. These people are like, I don't know, somebody that I love is really, really into this thing and he watches it all the time. And I'm probably not going to love it as much as they love it, but I would like to be a little bit knowledgeable about it so that I can at least have fun while they're having fun too. So they take a kickboxing class for a while, just so that they can feel like they can hang during like a UFC fight. And the funny thing is that like I don't think that the spouses of these people, the significant others, actually train. So like when they're actually watching these UFC fights, they sort of instantly have just a little bit more clout in the conversations. And, I could dig that. I could admire that. Just, having a cursory or general knowledge of something that someone you love is into. I think that's pretty important. Also, sort of final part, subsection B, like bonus material. We also get a few guys in here who are like really into sports betting. And kind of like one of their primary motivations to train is that they feel like if they come in and they train and they understand fighting more, that they can make more educational bets. I don't know. I'm not a gambling guy. I don't know how that whole world works. I just know that they think that if they have more knowledge about how fighting works, that they make better bets and they make more money. And hey, who am I to judge? Beggars can't be choosers. I don't care why you like martial arts, just that you like martial arts. And there you have it, 5 unique ways people use martial arts schools outside of martial arts. If you like this information, if you had some fun here, make sure you do all the things like, comment, and subscribe. Get this message out to everybody like that, especially if you're not repulsed by this ugly mug. We can be friends here. It'll be fun.